I didn't think this would happen so early on in my lease, standard lease program, but I tried to do low revenue loads, and I quickly found out that it doesn't make sense to sell yourself short because it's just gonna cause someone to keep on putting those loads on you. And I had to reject my first load. I had to reject my first load. It was sooner than I thought, y'all. But as usual, y'all know I have a story to tell, so let's get into it. Hey, y'all. So today is May 29th, Tuesday, and I'm here early as heck for my 8 a.m. delivery in Hicksville, coming from Port of Newark, AAK. Got here around 6 a.m., and when the worker came, he basically told me that I could take the back way, but I need to scope it out to see how the cars are on there. Initially, I thought I would have to alley dock, which is an option off the road, but I chose to come this route. It was tight. I had to get out of the truck just to make sure I wasn't too close, but I made it around there. And if you see with how the cars are set up, you're gonna see that, honestly, this was probably the best route for me. I didn't really trust alley docking and have the cars in the front to the left and then the box truck on the right. So this was a better alternative. Next time I come here, I know if I'm early to come around and set myself up before all the vehicles get here when the workers start. The dumpster was on my left, so I couldn't even swing in to set myself up better. But nevertheless, I got to back in and I got to start pumping off, so that's a plus for me. Funny thing, instructions in the Prime app says that we don't have to pump off, but lately I've always had to pump off when they said I don't have to. But it's another way to just strengthen my experience and get better with my pump off. What's up, my YouTube family? Fambo, I'm here representing for the big Jamaica, the big JA. See the flag, catch it? Yeah, you don't know. It's your girl, Tatiana, aka Just Trucking It. And I hate to be the bearer of bad situations and bad news, but I am the bearer of sharing my disappointments with you so you can probably do better when you decide to either come in a tankers or standard lease. And I am here with Prime Inc. I'm literally just about to go on my second month. I've only been doing the tanker division for a month. It was a slow process to start. You remember how that went. But I've been holding off on speaking on revenue because I wanted to see a full month, right? But this right here, I can speak on because, y'all, I don't know. And I always have to give the disclaimer. My experience may not be your experience. You may be better at something that I'm not better at. You may know how to run better. You may have the lucks of the gods. It's just different when it comes to trucking. One person can do better in the same situation compared to another person. So I always have to give you that disclaimer. So let me just say that this is about 3 particular loads, right? And it's 3 low paying loads, and I'm going to tell you why I rejected my first load. Now, additionally, I've been trucking since December 2022, right? That's when I got my CDL, and I jumped right into it with Werner, right? I've only rejected 1 load, and that was on the Dollar General account, and it was because of a backing situation in Maryland, and that was my second week out, and I refused to go to that location because I saw it as a setup, and I was not willing to take any chances with my license. Yeah, and I got out of it and got a better load after that, right? So fast forward now, this is the second time I've ever had to do it, and now it's in a lease program situation. So I took a load. I don't know if y'all remember, right? The load I had, it was going to Maryland, Salisbury, Maryland. I posted about going over the Bay Bridge, right? That load revenue, and I'm only giving revenue. I cannot include surcharge, tolls, because clearly that's not for me. Even if I set myself up to manage my fuel correctly where I actually can get a little bit off of that surcharge, I never include that because it could be a hit or a miss. So this is just revenue. The revenue for this load was $776. right? And I'm gonna tell you, this load, I took this load under one of those situations where I was trying to get closer to PA to go to the Pittston location, Pittston terminal, to have my truck alignment checked out, which you saw in the previous video that I did. So I took that load to go to Pittston, 776. I sucked it up, went over the Bay Bridge, sucked that up too, and I completed my load safe and everything. I initially thought I was going to be routed to Pittston after that because I did speak to dispatch. However, they added another load, right? This load was the load that was going to Hicksville, New York, which I basically showed you guys, right? So that load was at 111 miles, right? 111 miles into Hicksville, and it was paying $550 something. And I know you're going to be like, what the hell? Yes. It's low, but it's only 111 miles, $500 and something. I took it. That's gonna get me to New York. I'm still gonna be close to Jersey, close to PA, which worked out. I did do the load in Hicksville. Wait a minute, I'm thinking. Okay, yes, I'm skipping something. Yes, I did do the load in Hicksville, but I was parked up in New Jersey waiting to deliver that particular load because it was Memorial. It was going into Memorial weekend. So already right there, y'all, I did the loads to Salisbury, Maryland, and I had to basically deadhead to get myself to OJSK, the tank wash in Kearney, New Jersey, right? There was no load for me on the weekend, and we were going into Memorial Day. So I was already sitting there, no loads, which has become a pattern, it seems. I'm not gonna get more than 2 loads. That's just what it is, what I realized, right? So either way, I had my issues with that, but I sat down, I relaxed for a little bit, I soaked up the Memorial weekend, I handled some stuff that I had to do, called it a day, did my load to Hicksville. I got there at around 6 something a.m. in the morning. My delivery was at 8 a.m. So I was early on time because remember, y'all, I said that I found my groove. So I know how to set up myself now. I'm doing my split sleeper. So if I have to be working on recaps, I get it done, right? By the time I came out of that load, it was 17,000 for the weight. Therefore, I had to do the pump off and everything, right? So 17,000, it's not gonna take me long to offload coconut oil at 17,000. That's like a no-brainer. So I got out and I was in traffic for a little bit, but nothing too crazy. So I got into Kearney, New Jersey, like around 10 something, 9 something, 10 something. But the whole process of me dropping the tank and everything, basically doing my drop trailer, say around after 11 a.m. I was done. That's Tuesday. So I reached out to dispatch because they've been messaging me. The particular dispatch was messaging me about, am I waiting? Am I done? What's my ETA to OJSK? All these things. When I already dropped my trailer and everything, right? So I was up on time, way ahead of time before they even reached out to me. So I said, now it's my time to ask some questions. Is there a pre-planned load for me? No, but they're gonna check. They don't know. Correction, they don't know, but they're gonna check with sales. So they check with sales and come back to find out there's no pre-planned load. So at that time, I got kind of agitated, y'all, because I'm a truck driver, but I'm not a dispatch, right? However, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I have some kind of sense, right? I have some kind of sense to know how it's best to run me as a driver because I'm coming from team driving where we're on the go, right? So in this particular situation, I would think that if you know the driver is going to be done with delivery at 8 a.m., there's no report that they're going to be late, and y'all can check my truck to see what my location is. So you know I'm already there. You should know, but I don't know if they use that over here, right? Those services over here. It should show where I'm at already. You should know where I'm at. If you take the time out and check, you can find out. So I would think you would probably have a pre-planned load for me, a short load, because payroll ends on Wednesday around 4, right? 4 their time, I think, which is central, right? So I would think there would be something, a short load, maybe 50 miles, 100 miles, even 200 miles, right? There was no load for me, but they're gonna get me a new load, and if I get that load done early, then they can push it into the payroll. Remember, pay attention. This was mentioned to me before about, remember that load where I had to sit down for 2 days because they couldn't unload me? I think because the tank, they didn't have space in their tank. Remember that load? It was mentioned to me that the third load for that week could be pushed in onto that payroll, right? However, fast forward to the pay period ending and me getting my paycheck, I realized that not only was the third one, which I wasn't able to complete by 12, and I didn't kill myself to try to do it because I know for a fact I can't get it to the receiver within an hour and something, so that's impossible. However, that second load that I sat down for 2 days, they did not, and that's the particular dispatch that I'm under, did not push that load to be in on that payroll. And to this day I'm wondering why wasn't that done when you were pushing to put the add-on load into the pay period, because I was sitting for so long and it messed me up. But the second load was not put in there, so that was the revenue plus layover pay. I missed out on both of those, and I'm not gonna tell you what the net was because I'm trying to leave that for the video when I discuss my full month's revenue, right? But let's just say I only had one load, and clearly the only thing that came out of that load, y'all, was truck payment, all my fixed costs and my costs and stuff, my expenses that will change over time, right? Fuel and all that, right? So that only covered my expenses. I was happy. I wasn't in the red, but the number at the end, it's hilarious. So now we're fast forward to hearing again that you'll push another load into the current pay period, even though it's past the pay period, right? So now I'm feeling as if that's just something you'll tell me so I can rush to get the load done, and then there's a possibility it's not going to work out, because no matter how hard you try, guys, it's determined on the shipper and the receiver. Even the shipper gets you loaded or have your load ready early, it doesn't mean that the receiver will be able to take you early. So therefore, you're dealing with two situations or two factors that can contribute to your plan not going as successful as you want it to be, right? So I looked at the load, they added the load. That was Tuesday, so I'm sitting down from Tuesday after 11 to Wednesday. The new load you pick up on Thursday and you deliver. I'm trying to remember if the delivery was for Friday, right? That delivery was it? I'm not trying to lie, right? I still have it on but it's in my phone, right? But the delivery was for either Thursday or Friday, one out of the two of them, but that's not the point. The point here, right? The point is, when I looked at the load, it was, let's say, 350 miles. I was going from Port of Newark to Virginia. 350 miles. And when I looked at the revenue, it was $900, right? 900 and something dollars. So immediately I'm like, the low paying loads, and that there's one to consider. The load to Virginia, where I had to sit down for 2 days, the initial revenue was $892. The other one after that, it was $776 to Salisbury, Maryland. The third one to Hicksville, remember, $558 at 111 miles. So it's really 3 low revenue loads, right? That I sucked up, took it like a G, and kept on moving. This particular load is 350 miles, taking me from Newark to Virginia for 900 and some change, right? Again, not including the fuel surcharge and toll, because I have no reason to be talking about that. When I looked into it, it didn't make any sense. Remember, the load I had for Hicksville, the 111 miles for $558, which I could deal with, right? Now my mileage has tripled, because now I'm in 300 and something, right? Tripled, and my revenue is only $900 something, right? So you would think that me traveling further, I would even triple the amount by just going into the 500 and something to at least get me to 1,500 revenue or something like that. Even I still have not seen a 2,000 2,000 revenue. I've been like at the border of 1,700. I've not seen 2,000, 3,000, nothing like that, right? This one, I slept on it. Tuesday, I was just like, man, at this point, I don't think me showing up on time, me taking the low paying loads is gonna make anything better, right? I woke up the morning and I said, nah, I'm over this. I'm not doing this. This is just creating a problem for me as the driver who's just willing to just take whatever. So I rejected the load. I rejected it probably 6 times in the app, and then I realized the load was still on me. So I sent a message to let them know that I just want to ensure that you see that I have rejected this load, just to make sure I'm okay, because I still see it showing on my profile. They informed me they need to let FM and sales know why I rejected the load. So I mentioned that this is my 3rd low paying load that I've taken, not complaining, thinking it's going to set me up for better. And at this point, I see it's not. So right now I'm believing I'm just working to pay for a truck payment, which is the case, right? And you'll find out what I'm talking about when I mention how much I made the first month of my settlement, right? So they took it off me, and then the particular dispatch came back with a whole conversation of, you're in the north, it's after holidays, it's after Memorial Weekend, so it's slow and blah blah blah. I might be wrong, but I would think that after being closed at a particular weekend, going to the holidays, there would be loads. But I am not a trucking company owner. I don't do sales, so I'm not going to debate what was mentioned. But I'm saying this for a particular reason. So the issue was because we're coming off Memorial Weekend, right? So that was mentioned to me because I sent out a message saying, is this how it is running in the Northeast? Because I thought I've always been told the Northeast is busy. That's what I know for Northeast. That's why I normally stick to the Northeast side. Because normally it's just hustling, and a lot of people don't want to be here, right? So I mentioned, is this how it is in the Northeast? Because at this point, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm available to be running for 6 to 7 weeks. I told that to myself before I request any home time, right? I'm available and I'm sitting. I've sat before the Hicksville load and I'm sitting after the Hicksville load, which y'all still puts me at 2 load per week. I've already did the numbers and saw the setup to know that I need 3 to 4 loads. It's either 3 consistent loads and then try to pushing an extra load, which will be the 4th, and we still have to think about the revenue of those 3 loads, right? But that's how much I know I need to be good. So I mentioned that we're having a little banter, a little conversation, and the same dispatch mentions that Northeast is slow right now. You know, at first the Midwest was slow and the Northeast was busy. Now the Northeast is slow and the Midwest is busy. And I mentioned, they said open up your areas, which would mean open for all areas, OTR wise, right? But I mentioned, that's why I asked if the Northeast is what's going on with Northeast. So I said, if that's the case, then I'll open up my areas, because I can't continue like this. Like, I got bills. I'm not a teeny bopper out here. Now, mind you, I told you that my highest revenue was $1,700. So I'm doing OTR too, and I haven't seen any great light numbers to be like, oh my God, OTR, even when they said it was busy or whatever. And then I know other people who are also having, inconsistencies and so forth. So I opened up my area and I'm gonna see what it is. But my main issue now, guys, remember how I said that load for, I think my UPS delivery just came out. I'm looking like, wait a minute. Sorry, y'all. So remember I said that load with the layover, it wasn't put on that current pay period. So now that pay is coming into this week, right? Which just leads me to believe like it's all about tactics and certain strategies and stuff like that. I have that load plus the 2 loads that I did, which would mean that settlement would have 3 loads on it. So if I had gotten another one, that would kind of be 4, right? But if you have any kind of sense, you would realize that if you have one bad week, which I did, I only covered the truck payment, right? and you have probably one good week. That one good week is not really a true good week, because you'd have to factor any losses you took from the previous week and use whatever you made from the good week to back up, you know what I'm saying, that bad week. So therefore, you might think your positive settlement is money, but it's not. Business wise, you took a loss on both sides, right? It's either you're gonna be able to stay afloat, or you might get a little profit on one day, but is it really a profit? No. You have to think about, what did you have to cover out of pocket with probably your savings, like I did on that bad week, and you have to take that money from the good week and move it over to cover whatever expenses you had, or what you took out to cover those expenses. Now, I'm not going to go into drawn out, because you know I love to talk and ramble, right? Let me check something out. I'm like, what is this? Y'all know I like to talk and ramble. But when I started my tanker journey, I was comfortable covering certain expenses because I didn't splurge. My first year of trucking, I didn't splurge. I didn't go crazy. I didn't buy Louis Vuittons, Red Bottom, Chanel, Prada, YSL. I didn't do anything much but cover my bills. And I did like probably a birthday trip for myself in America. I didn't leave the country. And I did another trip for myself in Atlantic City when I left the team driving job. Therefore, I saved up my money because I saw how inconsistent trucking could be. So I wanted to be safe when I did my tanker journey. Now, y'all, I'm getting to that figure in my account where I don't feel comfortable going under, right? So this is why I had to make the decision to just say, no, I'm not going forward. Now, when I rejected that load, another load was presented to me. It's still low, but this load makes sense. I'm going from the port of Newark to, I don't remember. Is it Englewood? Whatever, it's Jersey, right? I'll put the information down here, right? So it's Jersey to Jersey, and it's only 27 loaded miles, right? 27 loaded miles. It's for $386, right? This particular load is what I wanted at the Tuesday, at the end of payroll. That's what I expected, a pre-planned load with low mileage like that I could get done and squeeze into end out the payroll week, but that wasn't what's done. Now, y'all, I'm taking this particular load, and again, it's me thinking of not becoming that worker who's rejecting, right? But after I do this load, I'm gonna see what's the next load that's placed on me. Because if it's also an additional low-paying load, then at this point, I'm faced with a situation of protecting myself to not sink. Because if it continues like this, and this is supposed to be the busy season, then what's going to happen in the slow season? I won't be able to survive. Like, I won't be able to stay afloat. And my main thing is, I do not want to end up in a situation where I owe. I've been so careful to not pay for extra fridge, add-ons. I don't even pay for navigation on their end. I've done my best to make sure I don't add a lot of expenses on myself. You get me? Just to make sure I come out on not winning, because there's no winning as far as I see, but just to come out clean in a way. There's stuff that I'm gonna have to pay for, but I do not want to be in a situation where I owe so much money where I'm just stuck, right? And that's what I'm trying to prevent right now. But y'all, it's not looking too great. I did know that any lease right now is not proper, it's not good, but at the same time, you know why I chose this route, because company-wise, it wasn't good either. On the company side, I never even saw $1,000. Let's just be honest, but I'll drop all my information just to show you the difference. But I wasn't gonna see anything, not even close to $1,000. I don't even think I saw 800, to be honest. And then I had a slow governed truck. So on the lease side, it was just better to run at 65. It was better equipment, stuff like that. So I'm gonna just slow down and just end this here. But I rejected that first load, and I didn't want to go into my second. But after this particular load, which I drop off tomorrow, I'm gonna really see if there's gonna be any changes, and then from that point, I just really have to protect myself, because I'm not willing to sit here and be silly and think things are gonna get better. I have not been here long enough to see better or think it's gonna get better. I would be foolish to sit down and just be like, oh no, that's not that's not smart. But y'all, I'm gonna end this video right here. I don't want to draw this out like I usually do. I'm gonna pick up with my revenue overall, you know, just to let you know, because what I made so far, I made way more than that as a team driver. I made way more than that working Dollar General solo. So at this point, I'm in a specialty division, tankers, right? And I'm just like, this ain't adding up. So both end company and the lease ain't adding up. So what side is better for me? I don't know about anybody else. For me specifically, I just want to reiterate that and push that this is about my experience. I don't need any heroes to be in the comments telling me otherwise, or you know, yeah. But I'm gonna end this here, and I'm gonna say one thing. This conversation that we're having right now, I then look at myself and say, cameras, inward facing cameras, which I haven't said anything about. But now it's two issues, because I'm just thinking, me, low revenue, low earning, I'm already stressed about that, and now to have a camera in my face knowing that I'm not earning, man, the anxiety in that situation is just damning, don't you think? Like, yeah. So now I'm just looking at that whole setup a whole different way, which I'll drop my opinion on that soon. But y'all, it's a lot to think about. But rejecting loads, I'm not trying to make it a normal thing for me. That's not really how I roll. But in this situation, I had to. But as always, thank you for watching and listening to me rant. At the end of the day, I only share my experience so I can set someone else up for better and give advice in some case. You don't have to take it, but I like to share it anyways. So thank you so much for watching, subscribing, like, share, subscribe if you want to. I would appreciate it though. And if you like, you can follow me on Instagram at justtruckingitati. I'm over there more, and I share more on there as I go, so you kind of get a lot more in-depth stories on my Instagram. Again, justtruckingitati. And I'm gonna sign out on this video, y'all. Peace out.